Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's quarterly dairy legal webinar. This is the latest in our series. The topic for today is dairy industry carbon reduction programs, and Brooke Dewar will be Brooke, who is a staff attorney here at the center, will be providing that presentation. This is the latest webinar in this series. It's actually number 6. We started doing these webinars in October of 2020, and we do a webinar each quarter that focuses on the legal developments over the past quarter. Now, the content that for these webinars, we pull this content from the agricultural law weekly reviews that are prepared each week. I would encourage you to look at our website where you can view the weekly reviews. You also can subscribe so that you'll receive those each week as they are prepared. Now, in this quarterly dairy legal webinar series, we follow a standard format each quarter, where we begin the webinar focusing on the recent legal developments. And again, those are legal developments that we're pulling from the weekly review that we prepare each week. And we spend about 15 or 20 minutes focusing on those recent legal developments. And then we move on to a specific topic each quarter. That topic for this webinar being the carbon programs. So just as far as some of the ground rules, first off, this webinar is being recorded. If you have any questions during the webinar, please use the Q&A feature. For those of you who are seeking Pennsylvania CLE credits, we will post a link in the chat, and so you can put your attorney ID number and the rest of the requested information on that form. We will be providing a code word, so a code word, and you have to put that code word into the CLE form, and so that's our way of doing an attendance verification that we're required to do for the CLE board. If you have any questions or any technical issues during the webinar, please contact Jackie Schweikler at jks251@psu.edu. Okay, I want to provide a special thanks to the National Agricultural Law Center, who is a partner, or we work with them, and we receive funding from the National Agricultural Library, part of USDA's Agricultural Research Service. So I want to make sure we provide credit to them. So for today's webinar, as I said, we will begin by reviewing the past quarter. So that would be October through December of 2021. And Chloe Marie, who is a research specialist at the center, will be walking us through those developments from the past quarter. So, Chloe?
Yeah, thank you, Ross. So for this last quarter of 2021, I am first going to address some recent regulatory actions that have been taken by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, as well as an issue related to dairy antitrust and U.S. regional dairy and international developments. So let's start. So on December 8, 2021, the Department of Agriculture's Farm Service Agency announced on its webpage the 2022 enrollment period opening for the Dairy Margin Coverage Program. So the DMC program is a voluntary risk management program which pays dairy producers when the difference between the all milk price and the average feed price drops below a producer's selected dollar amount. And according to the announcement, FSA updated the DMC program's feed cost calculation method with a 100% premium alfalfa, saying that correctly, hay prices instead of 50% premium alfalfa hay prices to determine the monthly margin, so as to make DMC payments more reflective of actual dairy producer expenses. And in addition to that, FSA provided that eligible dairy producers with less than 5 million pounds of past production may apply for supplemental dairy margin coverage payments for the calendar years 2022 and 2023. So the supplemental DMC payment calculation is based upon a formula using 2019 actual milk marketing data. And those eligible dairy producers also may apply for retroactive payments for the year 2021 if they were previously unable to enroll in the program. So the sign-up period for both DMC and supplemental DMC initially opened from December 13, 2021 until February 18, 2022. However, FSA later extended the 2022 DMC coverage deadline to March 25, 2022. So now about the dairy antitrust issue. So recently, in November 2021, the US Department of Justice gave the US affiliate of the French dairy Lactalis Group the green light for the acquisition of Kraft Heinz American Natural Cheese Division, for which an agreement was reached in September 2020. That provided that Kraft Heinz completed the divestiture of its Atenos and Polyho cheese businesses so as to avoid any potential antitrust issues, because both groups are major suppliers of feta and ricotta cheese to the US market. As a result, the Department of Justice filed a civil antitrust action against Lactalis Group and Kraft Heinz before the US District Court for the District of Columbia to alter the acquisition, along with a proposed settlement to resolve the issue and achieve antitrust compliance for the purchase. So as stated in the complaint, the proposed combination of Lactalis and Kraft Heinz would likely lead to higher prices, lower quality, and reduced choice for retail consumers of feta and ricotta cheeses at a time when many Americans are struggling to meet rising food prices. So that is why, to remedy the situation, the settlement proposed that the Atenos cheese business be sold to Wisconsin-based cheesemaker Amy Roth USA, and the Polio business to another Wisconsin-based cheese manufacturer, Belgioso Cheese, or any alternative buyer. And it was later confirmed that Kraft Heinz transferred its cheese businesses to both Amy Roth and Belgioso, thus completing the $3.3 billion acquisition of Kraft Heinz assets by Lactalis. And the former Kraft Heinz American Cheese Division became Lactalis Heritage Dairy and is now headquartered in Chicago. Okay, so most of you may have heard about French company Danone's recent termination of 89 Northeastern organic producer contracts. During the summer 2021, organic dairy producers in Vermont, Maine, New York, and New Hampshire reported having received notices of non-renewable of their milk contract with Horizon Organics, which is owned by Danone, with a termination date set on August 31st, 2022. Well, this news received a lot of backlash from Northeastern dairy communities, even from elected officials and state governors. And in early November last year, 11 organic producer and consumer interest groups, including the Northeast Organic Dairy Producers Alliance and Organic Farmers Association, submitted a petition to B-Lab against Danone North America. So B-Lab is a nonprofit organization that deliver B Corp certifications that are granted to companies that meet current societal and environmental demands. So the organic organizations allege that Danone North America violated the B Corp Declaration of Interdependence when its Horizon Organic wholly owned subsidiary decided to terminate contracts with the 89 Northeast organic dairy farms. They argued that Danone put profit before the people and farming community. So I have included the entire text of the B Corp Declaration of Interdependence on the PowerPoint slide via the following link. But basically, any B certified company must commit to be the change they seek in the world, that all business ought to be conducted as if people and place mattered, that through their products, practices, and profits, businesses should aspire to do no harm and benefit all. And in order to do so, businesses must act with the understanding that we are each dependent upon another and those responsible for each other and future generations. So the organic organizations asked that Danone's B Corp status be removed and wrote in their petition that Danone's behavior diminishes consumer confidence in the value of the B Corp label, and that if B Lab does not take effective action, consumers will lose trust in the value-based label. And they received more than 15,000 signatures in support of their petition from various organic consumers and farmers. So Organic Farmers Association recently made public an email received from B-Lab on December 16, 2021, that was sent in response to the complaints, in which it upheld Danone certification. B-Lab wrote that certified B Corps are expected to make decisions with consideration of the impacts on stakeholders in mind. And while these decisions may still nonetheless lead to a potential negative impact on a particular stakeholder group, it is also considered how a company engages in ways to mitigate that negative impact to the extent possible. However, it also pointed out that while their review of a company's profile acknowledges as best practices supporting small-scale and local suppliers, maintaining long-term relationships with suppliers, and purchases from organic producers, these practices are not required components of the certification. But in the meantime, on December 13, 2021, Danone North America offered, in a letter sent to the Northeast Organic Dairy Producers Alliance, to extend the purchase contracts of the affected 89 producers for an additional 6 months, so until February 28, 2023, instead of the initial August 31st, 2022 termination date, in order to provide them with additional time and support. Danone also wrote that it will pay an additional fee per 100 weights purchased during the extended 6-month period for financial support. And in addition to that, Danone committed to work with farmers, giving them access to farm financial consultants that specialize in providing support for the agriculture community, and also with federal and state governments to address systemic challenges related to Northeast organic dairy infrastructure. So now to finish this dairy roundup on a sweet note, on October 26, 2021, New Zealand-based A2 Milk Company announced that it has teamed up with Hershey to co-brand a line of chocolate milk made with 2% reduced fat A2 milk. So if you don't know what A2 milk is, it comes from a variety of cow's milk that only contains a naturally produced A2 protein due to genetic mutation, compared to regular milk that contains a mix of A1 and A2 proteins. And according to the A2 Milk Company, published research suggests that drinking A2 milk may help avoid stomach discomfort in some people. So the New Zealand-based A2 Milk Company was the initial marketer of A2 milk in most US markets. And A2 milk is most commonly produced from Jersey cows, and a number of US Jersey herds have begun to enter the market. The A2 Milk Company declared that that feature, as well as strong sales in the overall premium milk category, have helped the company achieve multiple years of double-digit growth, including a remarkable 30% growth rate in the US in its last fiscal year. So if you would like more information on A2 milk, the center actually finished up a written publication on the topic of A2 milk, and including a discussion of the intellectual property rights to use the designation A2 milk that should be published shortly on our general publications webpage. All right, so that is it for today's dairy roundup. So thank you all for your attention, and I will now hand it over to you, Brooke.